Maria Santos wiped down the last table of the evening. Her feet hurt. They always hurt after a long shift at the restaurant. She looked around the small dining room with its yellow walls and family photos. This place had been her whole world for 19 years. The restaurant belonged to her parents. Her mother cooked in the kitchen. Her father handled the money and talked to customers. Maria did everything else. She cleaned tables, took orders, washed dishes, and smiled even when she was tired. That was her life. Wake up, go to school, come to the restaurant, work until closing, go home, sleep, and do it all again. But Maria had a secret. Every night after the restaurant closed, after her parents went home, she stayed behind. She would walk to the small storage room at the back. Between the boxes of rice and cans of tomatoes, there was a small wooden stool. And on that stool, wrapped in an old cloth, was a trumpet. The trumpet had belonged to her grandfather. He died when Maria was 12. She remembered him sitting on the porch of their old house, playing songs while the sun went down. The music made her feel things she could not put into words. It made her feel happy and sad at the same time. It made her feel like the world was bigger than her small neighborhood. When her grandfather died, no one wanted the trumpet. It was old and had dents in it. The silver coating was worn off in places. Her father said it was probably broken. But Maria asked if she could keep it. She wrapped it carefully and brought it to the restaurant. For 2 years, the trumpet just sat there. Maria did not know how to play it. She did not know anything about music. Her family did not have money for music lessons. At school, there was a music class, but it was always full. The teacher said maybe next year. Next year never came. Then one day, when Maria was 15, she found a video on her phone. It was a woman playing trumpet in a park. The music was so beautiful that Maria watched it 5 times. Then she watched more videos. She watched videos of people playing jazz, blues, and classical music. She watched videos that taught basic notes and how to hold the trumpet correctly. That night, she unwrapped her grandfather's trumpet. She put it to her lips like she saw in the videos. She blew. The sound that came out was terrible. It was loud and ugly like a sick animal. Maria laughed at herself. This was going to be harder than she thought, but she did not give up. Every night after closing, she practiced. At first, she could only make horrible sounds. Her lips hurt. Her lungs hurt. She felt stupid sitting alone in that storage room, making noise that did not sound like music at all. Slowly, things got better. After 2 months, she could play a few notes that sounded okay. After 6 months, she could play a simple song all the way through. It was a children's song, but it was something. After a year, she could play songs she heard on the radio. She learned by listening and trying over and over until it sounded right. Maria never told anyone about her practicing. Her parents thought she stayed late to clean the restaurant extra well. Sometimes customers heard the faint sound of music coming from the back, but they probably thought it was a radio. There was one person who seemed to know, though. His name was Mr. Chen. He was an old man who came to the restaurant 3 times a week. He always sat at the same table by the window. He always ordered the same thing, chicken soup and rice. He always left exactly at 8:30, but lately Mr. Chen started staying later. He would finish his dinner and just sit there drinking tea slowly. Maria noticed that he stayed on the nights when she practiced. She wondered if he could hear her playing through the walls. One night after she finished practicing, she came out of the storage room and found Mr. Chen still sitting at his table. The restaurant had been closed for an hour. Maria was surprised and a little worried. "I am sorry, sir," she said. "We are closed. I should have noticed you were still here." Mr. Chen smiled. He had a kind face with deep wrinkles around his eyes. "I know you are closed," he said. "I stayed to listen." Maria felt her face turn hot. "Listen to what?" "To you playing trumpet," Mr. Chen said. "I have been listening for months now." "You are getting better." Maria did not know what to say. She felt embarrassed. Her playing was not good. She was just someone who taught herself from videos. She was not a real musician. "I am not very good," Maria said quietly. "You have something," Mr. Chen said. "Raw talent, heart. That is more important than people think." Maria looked at her feet. "I just play for fun. It does not matter if I am good or not." Mr. Chen stood up slowly. His knees made a cracking sound. "Everything matters," he said. "Music especially. I used to teach music many years ago. I know talent when I hear it." This surprised Maria. "You were a music teacher?" "Yes," Mr. Chen said. "At a big school in the city. I taught for 30 years. Then I retired and moved here to be close to my daughter. That was 10 years ago. Maria wanted to ask him many questions, but she felt shy. Mr. Chen seemed to understand. "Keep practicing," he said as he walked to the door. "And maybe one day let people hear you play. Music is meant to be shared." After that night, Maria and Mr. Chen became friends. He still came 3 times a week. He still ordered chicken soup and rice. But now he stayed late on purpose. Sometimes he would knock on the storage room door after she practiced. "That part was good," he would say, "but try this." And he would hum a melody or explain something about rhythm or breathing. Mr. Chen never made Maria feel stupid. He never made her feel bad about teaching herself. He just helped her get better, little by little. He told her about famous trumpet players. He explained different styles of music. Sometimes he would bring old CDs from his collection and let her borrow them. "Listen to Miles Davis," he said one night, handing her a CD. "Listen to how he makes every note count. He does not play 1,000 notes. He plays the right notes." Maria listened to the CD that night at home. Mr. Chen was right. The music was not about playing fast or playing a lot. It was about feeling. It was about telling a story without words. Her playing improved even more. The regular customers at the restaurant started to notice. Mrs. Lopez, who came every Tuesday, asked if someone was playing music in the back. "It is pretty," she said. "Like a radio, but more real." A young couple on a date heard the music one evening. "That is live music?" the man asked. "Who is playing?" Maria always felt too shy to admit it was her. She would just smile and say something vague, but inside she felt proud. People liked her music. Maybe she was not as bad as she thought. Life continued this way for 2 more years. Maria finished high school. Her parents wanted her to go to community college and study business. They wanted her to take over the restaurant someday. Maria agreed because she did not know what else to do. She did not think about music as a real future. It was just something she did late at night in a storage room. But she could not stop playing. The trumpet was part of her now. When she was stressed about school or tired from work, playing music made her feel better. When she was happy, playing music made her feel even happier. The trumpet was like a friend who always understood her. Mr. Chen told her she should play in public. "There is a small jazz club on 5th Street, he said. "They have open mic nights on Thursdays. "You should go." Maria shook her head. "I am not good enough for that." "Yes, you are," Mr. Chen said firmly. "You have been playing for 4 years now. You are better than you think." But Maria was too scared. What if people laughed at her? What if they thought she was terrible? She had taught herself from videos and help from an old man. She was not a trained musician. She did not go to music school. She was just a girl who worked in her parents' restaurant, so she kept her music private. She kept practicing in the storage room. She kept dreaming small dreams because big dreams seemed impossible for someone like her. Then everything changed on a Tuesday in October. It was a normal day at first. The lunch rush was busy. Maria's feet hurt from running between tables. Her mother burned a pot of rice and got angry. Her father argued with a supplier on the phone. Just a normal, ordinary day. But that evening, a man walked into the restaurant. He was about 30 years old and wore nice clothes. Expensive clothes. He had styled hair and shiny shoes. He looked out of place in their simple restaurant with its plastic tablecloths and old chairs. Maria grabbed a menu and walked over to him. "Welcome," she said. "Just one person today?" The man smiled. "Yes, just me. I heard this place has the best home cooking in the city." Maria seated him at a table and brought him water. The man looked at the menu for a long time. He asked questions about every dish. What was in it? How was it cooked? Was it spicy? Maria answered patiently, even though she had 10 other tables to take care of. Finally, he ordered chicken stew, rice, and vegetables. "And please tell the cook to make it however she thinks is best," he said. I trust her judgment. This made Maria smile. Most customers wanted things a specific way. No salt, extra spicy. Sauce on the side. This man just wanted good food. When Maria brought his meal, he thanked her warmly. She noticed he ate slowly, really tasting each bite. He closed his eyes sometimes, like the food was making him remember something. It was about 8 o'clock when something happened. Maria was in the kitchen helping her mother wash pots. Through the walls, very faintly, came the sound of a trumpet. Maria froze. Who was playing? Then she realized. It was a recording. Someone was playing music on their phone or a speaker. It was coming from the dining room. As Maria listened, she recognized the song. It was one she practiced last week. A jazz standard called Autumn Leaves. Maria walked out to the dining room. The music was coming from the nice man's table, but it was not his phone. The music was coming from somewhere else. From the back of the restaurant. Maria's heart dropped. She had left the storage room door open a crack. And somehow Mr. Chen must have arrived early. He sometimes came in through the back door. He must be back there, listening to her practice recordings or something. But that was not what happened. As Maria got closer to the storage room, she realized the music was live. Someone was playing trumpet right now, and it was not a recording. It was her. She had started practicing without realizing the dining room was still occupied. Maria ran to the storage room and burst through the door. "I am so sorry," she said to herself, quickly putting down the trumpet. Her face was red with embarrassment. How could she be so careless? She walked back out to the dining room. The nice man was looking toward the back area with an interested expression on his face. When Maria came out, he smiled at her. "Was that you playing?" he asked. Maria did not know what to say. She wanted to lie and say it was a radio. But something about the way he asked, like he was genuinely curious and not judging, made her tell the truth. "Yes," she said quietly. "I am sorry if it bothered you. I thought everyone had left." "Bothered me?" The man laughed. "No, it was beautiful. I was just surprised to hear live trumpet music in a restaurant." "I only play after we close," Maria explained quickly. "I practice in the back. I did not mean to disturb anyone." The man looked at her with interest. "How long have you been playing?" "About 4 years," Maria said. "Where did you study?" "I taught myself," Maria admitted. "From videos and help from a friend." The man's eyebrows went up. "You taught yourself? And you can play like that?" He seemed impressed but also a little amused, like he found it charming in a cute way. Maria did not know if he was being sincere or making fun of her. She just nodded. The man pulled out his wallet and left money on the table. It was more than enough to cover his meal and a generous tip. As he stood to leave, he reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a card. "My name is David Martinez," he said, handing her the card. Maria looked at the card. It said, "David Martinez, Trumpet Virtuoso." There was a website and a phone number. "I am performing at the Grand Theater tomorrow night," David said. "It is my final concert of a national tour. After the concert, there is a small gathering at the Blue Note Jazz Club on 5th Street. I would like to extend an invitation to you." Maria's hands were shaking as she held the card. David Martinez. She knew that name. She had watched his videos. He was famous. He played with symphonies and jazz bands all over the world. He had won awards. And he had just eaten dinner at her family's restaurant. I do not know what to say," Maria stammered. David smiled. He seemed to be thinking about something. Then he said something that sounded spontaneous, like the idea had just popped into his head. "Actually, here is a thought. Since you are self-taught and I am sure very brave, how about a friendly musical duel? You and me after my concert tomorrow night. Just for fun. What do you think?" Maria's mind went blank. Was he serious? He was a world-famous musician. She was a waitress who taught herself from videos. This had to be a joke. I could never," Maria began. "Think about it," David said, still smiling. "It would be entertaining. No pressure. Just two people who love music, sharing that love with others. The Blue Note is a casual place. Very friendly. I think it could be special." Before Maria could respond, David walked toward the door. "I hope to see you there," he called over his shoulder. Then he was gone. Maria stood in the middle of the restaurant holding the card, her heart pounding. Behind her, she heard a chair scrape. She had not noticed that Mr. Chen was sitting at his usual table. He must have come in while she was talking to David. "Did I just hear what I think I heard?" Mr. Chen asked. Maria turned to him, her eyes wide with shock. "He challenged me to a duel. A trumpet duel. Mr. Chen, that was David Martinez." Mr. Chen stood up and walked over to her. He looked at the business card in her hand. Then he looked at Maria's face. She looked terrified and excited at the same time. "This is your chance," Mr. Chen said quietly. "My chance?" Maria said. "My chance to be humiliated in front of everyone? He is a professional. I am nobody." "You are somebody," Mr. Chen said firmly. You are a young woman who taught herself to play trumpet with passion and dedication. That means something. But I will embarrass myself, Maria said. I will embarrass my family. I will embarrass you for teaching me. Mr. Chen shook his head. You could never embarrass me. And you will not embarrass yourself if you play from your heart. He may have technique and training, but you have something he might have forgotten. What is that? Maria asked. The pure love of music, Mr. Chen said. The reason any of us picked up an instrument in the first place. Not for fame or money or applause. Just for the love of it. Maria looked at the card again. Tomorrow night. The Blue Note Jazz Club. A duel with David Martinez. It seemed impossible. It seemed terrifying. But deep inside, a small voice said something else. It said, this is what you have been practicing for. This is why you spent 4 years in that storage room. This is your moment. I do not know if I can do this, Maria whispered. Mr. Chen put a gentle hand on her shoulder. Sleep on it, he said. Tomorrow you will know what to do. That night Maria could not sleep. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Her mind raced with thoughts. What if she said yes and completely failed? What if she froze on stage and could not play at all? What if people laughed? What if David Martinez was just making fun of her and did not expect her to actually show up? But another thought kept pushing through. What if she did not go? What if she spent the rest of her life wondering what could have happened? What if this was her only chance to really play for people, to share her music with the world, even if just for one night? Maria got out of bed and went to her window. She could see the city lights in the distance. Somewhere out there was the Grand Theater where David Martinez would perform tomorrow. Somewhere out there was the Blue Note Jazz Club where people would gather afterward. Somewhere out there was a life bigger than this bedroom, bigger than the restaurant, bigger than everything she knew. She thought about her grandfather. He used to tell her stories about when he was young, about the chances he did not take because he was afraid. Do not be like me, he would say. When life gives you a chance, grab it with both hands. Maria took a deep breath. She knew what she had to do. It scared her more than anything ever had. But she had to try. She had to know if her music was good enough. She had to know if she was brave enough. Tomorrow night she would go to the Blue Note Jazz Club. Tomorrow night she would accept David Martinez's challenge. Tomorrow night everything would change. Maria woke up early the next morning with a knot in her stomach. She had barely slept 3 hours. Every time she closed her eyes, she imagined herself on a stage, unable to make any sound come out of the trumpet. Or worse, making terrible sounds while people laughed. She got dressed and went downstairs. Her mother was already in the kitchen preparing ingredients for the restaurant. The smell of onions and garlic filled the air. Good morning, Maria, her mother said without looking up from the cutting board. You look tired. Did you stay up late studying? Maria thought about telling her mother the truth. But what would she say? That a famous musician challenged her to a musical duel? Her mother would think she was crazy. Or worse, her mother would forbid her to go. Just could not sleep, Maria said. Too much on my mind. Her mother nodded. She understood busy minds. She had run this restaurant for 20 years while raising Maria. Busy minds were normal in their family. Maria made herself toast, but could not eat it. Her stomach was too tight. She kept thinking about tonight. Should she really go? Maybe she should just forget about it. Pretend it never happened. David Martinez probably would not even remember her. He met so many people every day. But then she touched the business card in her pocket. She had carried it with her from her bedroom. It was real. This was real. This was happening. At 10 o'clock, Maria walked to the restaurant to start her shift. She tried to focus on work. Taking orders, serving food, cleaning tables. Normal things. Simple things. But her hands shook every time she carried a tray. Around noon, Mrs. Lopez came in for lunch. She was a regular customer who knew everyone in the neighborhood. She loved to talk and share news. Today, she was more excited than usual. Maria, Mrs. Lopez called out as soon as she sat down. Did you hear? David Martinez ate here yesterday. Maria's heart skipped. How do you know? She asked. It is all over social media, Mrs. Lopez said, pulling out her phone. Look, he posted a photo of his meal and said this place has the most authentic home cooking in the city. Your restaurant is famous now. Maria looked at the phone. Sure enough, there was David Martinez's verified account. He had posted a picture of the chicken stew her mother made. The post had thousands of likes and hundreds of comments. People were asking where the restaurant was located. Some were saying they would visit next time they were in the city. "This is wonderful for your family," Mrs. Lopez said. "You will have so many new customers." Maria felt dizzy. She had not thought about this. David Martinez had a huge following. People listened to what he said. If they all came to the restaurant, it would be chaos. Her parents would be thrilled, of course. But Maria felt a new kind of pressure building. Mrs. Lopez leaned in close. "But that is not the only news," she said in a quieter voice. "I heard from my cousin who works at the Grand Theater. She said David Martinez told some people that he challenged a young trumpet player to a musical duel tonight at the Blue Note. Is that true? Do you know anything about it?" Maria's face turned red. How did news spread so fast? The duel was supposed to be just a casual thing. Now people were talking about it. I do not know much about it," Maria lied poorly. Mrs. Lopez studied her face. Then her eyes went wide. "Wait, the young trumpet player? That is you, is it not? You are the one who plays in the back room." "Please do not tell anyone," Maria said quickly, but it was too late. Mrs. Lopez was already excited. "This is amazing. Maria, you have to do it."
"This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity."
"But I am not good enough," Maria protested. "He is a professional. I just play for fun, so what?" Mrs. Lopez said. "This is your chance to show people what you can do. The whole neighborhood will be proud of you." After Mrs. Lopez left, Maria felt even more panicked. This was getting bigger than she imagined. It was not just going to be a few people at a jazz club. People were talking about it. People would come to watch. People would expect something from her. Maria wanted to run away. She wanted to call David Martinez and tell him she could not do it. But she did not have his phone number. She only had his business card with a general contact email. The afternoon shift was torture. More customers came in, and some of them had heard about the duel. Word was spreading through the neighborhood like wildfire. "Is it true you are going up against David Martinez? Are you nervous? Can I come watch? My daughter plays trumpet too. Maybe you can teach her someday." Each question made Maria more anxious. She smiled and gave short answers, but inside she felt like screaming. This was supposed to be a simple decision. Go or do not go. But now it felt like the whole world was watching. If she did not show up, everyone would be disappointed. If she did show up and failed, everyone would witness her failure. At 3 o'clock, Mr. Chen arrived. He came earlier than usual. As soon as Maria saw him, she felt a little relief. Mr. Chen always knew what to say. She brought him his usual order without asking. "Everyone is talking about tonight," she said quietly as she set down his soup. "I know," Mr. Chen said. "I heard about it at the market this morning. News travels fast in this neighborhood." "I do not think I can do this," Maria said. "Too many people will be there. Too many people will expect too much." Mr. Chen looked at her with his calm, wise eyes. "Sit down for a moment," he said, gesturing to the chair across from him. Maria glanced around. The restaurant was not too busy right now. She sat down. "Tell me," Mr. Chen said. "Why do you play the trumpet?" Maria thought about this. "Because I love it," she said. "Because it makes me feel free. Because when I play, I forget about everything else." "Exactly," Mr. Chen said. "You play for yourself. Not for other people. Not for approval. Not for fame. You play because you love it. Tonight, if you go, you need to remember that. You are not playing to prove anything to anyone. You are playing because that is what you do. You are a musician." "But I am not a real musician," Maria said. "I work in a restaurant." "Mozart worked for an archbishop," Mr. Chen said. "He had to write music for church services and fancy dinners. Does that make him less of a musician? Many great artists had other jobs. That does not make their art less real." Maria had never thought about it that way. She always felt like music was something on the side, something extra. Not her real life. But maybe Mr. Chen was right. Maybe being a musician was not about having a fancy title or a music degree. Maybe it was just about making music. "What if I am terrible tonight?" Maria asked. "Then you will be terrible," Mr. Chen said with a small smile. "But at least you will know. You will not spend your whole life wondering. And I do not think you will be terrible. I think you will surprise yourself." Maria wanted to believe him, but the fear was still there, sitting heavy in her chest. The rest of the afternoon passed in a blur. More customers came, some just to see Maria and wish her luck. It felt surreal. Yesterday she was invisible. Today everyone knew who she was. At 6 o'clock, Maria finished her shift. She needed to go home and get ready, but she did not know what to wear. What did people wear to a jazz club? She had never been to one. All her clothes were simple: jeans, t-shirts, a few plain dresses for church. Nothing fancy. Her mother noticed her worry. "What is wrong?" she asked. "You have been distracted all day." Maria took a deep breath. She had to tell her mother something. "Mama, I need to go somewhere tonight." "It is important," her mother frowned. "Where? You have school tomorrow." "You need to rest." "I will be home by midnight," Maria promised. "Please, Mama, this is really important." Her mother studied her face. Maria rarely asked for anything. She was a good daughter, responsible, hard-working. If she said something was important, it probably was. "Okay," her mother said slowly, "but you call me if there is any problem, and you come straight home after." "Thank you, Mama," Maria said, hugging her. At home, Maria stood in front of her small closet. She had a dark blue dress that she wore for special occasions. It was simple but nice. She decided to wear that with a black cardigan. Not too fancy, not too casual. She wrapped her grandfather's trumpet carefully in its cloth. Her hands were shaking as she packed it into an old shoulder bag. This trumpet had been her secret for 4 years. Tonight, people would hear it. Really hear it. Not through walls or closed doors. They would hear it directly. Maria looked at herself in the mirror. She looked scared. But maybe that was okay. Maybe being scared meant this mattered. At 7 o'clock, Maria left her house. The Blue Note Jazz Club was a 30-minute walk. She could have taken a bus, but she needed time to think. Time to breathe. Time to prepare. As she walked through her neighborhood, she noticed the streets were quieter than usual. Usually on a Wednesday evening, people sat on their porches or walked their dogs. But tonight, many houses seemed empty. Maria had a strange thought. Were people already heading to the jazz club? The thought made her walk faster. She did not want to arrive and find a huge crowd waiting. That would make everything worse. Downtown was busier than her neighborhood. People walked quickly, heading home from work or out to dinner. Maria felt small among them. These people did not know about the duel. They did not know about Maria Santos and her borrowed trumpet. They were living their normal lives while hers was about to change completely. She reached the Grand Theater at 7:30. It was a beautiful old building with tall columns and bright lights. A sign out front announced, "David Martinez, final night. Sold out." People in fancy clothes were walking inside. Maria felt a pang in her chest. This was David's world, theater crowds and sold-out shows. What was she doing challenging someone who lived in this world? Maria kept walking. The Blue Note Jazz Club was 3 blocks away. As she got closer, her heart beat faster. She could see the club's blue neon sign glowing in the darkness. And she could see people, lots of people, standing outside talking, waiting. No, Maria thought. This could not be right. The Blue Note was supposed to be a small place, a casual place, but there had to be over 100 people outside. Maybe more. Maria stopped walking. She stood on the corner watching the crowd. Some people were from her neighborhood. She recognized faces from the restaurant. But there were also strangers, young people with instruments, older people who looked like they knew about jazz, even some people with cameras. This was too much. Maria felt her chest tighten. She could not breathe properly. She turned around and started walking back the way she came. She would go home. She would tell everyone she got sick. She would forget this whole thing ever happened. But after 10 steps, she stopped. She remembered something her grandfather used to say. Fear is just excitement that needs to take a deep breath. Maria took a deep breath. Then another. Then another. What was the worst that could happen? She would play badly and people would forget about it in a week. Life would go back to normal. But if she ran away now, she would remember this moment forever. She would remember that she was too scared to even try. Maria turned back toward the jazz club. She walked slowly, each step feeling like it took all her courage. As she got closer, someone in the crowd noticed her. "There she is," a voice called out. "That is Maria." Suddenly, people were looking at her. Some clapped. Some called her name. Mrs. Lopez pushed through the crowd and rushed over. "Maria, we were worried you would not come," Mrs. Lopez said, grabbing her hands. "Half the neighborhood is here. We are all supporting you." Maria felt overwhelmed. She looked at all the faces. Most were smiling. Most were friendly. They were not here to laugh at her. They were here to cheer for her. These were her people. A man in a black shirt came out of the club. He looked official, like he worked there. "Are you Maria Santos?" he asked. Maria nodded, unable to speak. "Mr. Martinez is expecting you," the man said. "Please come inside. I will take you backstage." Backstage? This was really happening. There was no turning back now. Maria followed the man through the crowd. People patted her shoulder and said encouraging things. "You can do this." "Good luck. We believe in you." Inside, the jazz club was dimly lit and smelled like coffee and old wood. It was bigger than Maria expected, but still cozy. There was a small stage at the front with microphones and speakers. Every table was full. People stood along the walls because there were no more seats. The noise of conversation filled the air. The man led Maria through a side door to a small room backstage. "Wait here," he said. "Mr. Martinez will be here after his theater performance. It should be another hour." An hour. Maria had an hour to wait and think and panic. She sat down on a worn couch and held her trumpet bag in her lap. Her hands would not stop shaking. She could hear the muffled sounds of the crowd outside. More people were arriving. She heard someone say the fire marshal was worried about capacity. Too many people wanted to get in. Maria felt sick. What had she done? This was a mistake. A huge mistake. There was a knock on the door. Before Maria could answer, it opened. A young woman about Maria's age peeked in. She had bright purple hair and wore a leather jacket. "Hey," the woman said. "I am Sophie. I run the sound system here. Just wanted to check. You are really going through with this?" Maria did not know how to answer. "I think so," she said weakly. Sophie laughed. "That does not sound very confident. Look, I have to be honest with you. David Martinez is really good. Like scary good. I have seen him play 3 times. He can do things with a trumpet that seem impossible." This did not make Maria feel better. "But," Sophie continued, "I heard you playing through the wall earlier today when you were sound checking. You know what? You are pretty good too. Different from him, but good. You have feeling. That counts for a lot in jazz." "Really?" Maria asked. "Really," Sophie said. "Just do not try to match him technically. You cannot. Nobody here can. Just play your music, your way. That is what people want to hear anyway." Sophie left and Maria was alone again. She pulled out her trumpet and looked at it. The dents, the worn silver, the marks from 4 years of practice. This trumpet had been her companion through so much. Late nights when she was sad. Happy days when she wanted to celebrate. Frustrating times when nothing sounded right. This trumpet knew her better than anyone. "Okay, Grandpa," Maria whispered to the trumpet. "If you're watching, help me not make a complete fool of myself." Time passed slowly. Maria practiced a few scales very quietly just to keep her lips warm. She tried not to think about the crowd outside. She tried not to think about David Martinez. She tried to think about music. Just music. The thing she loved. At 9:15 there was commotion outside her door. Voices, footsteps, excitement. Maria heard someone say, "He is here." Maria's stomach dropped. David had arrived. There was a knock. The door opened, and there he was. David Martinez wearing a sharp black suit holding his own trumpet case. He looked even more polished and professional than yesterday. "Maria," he said with a big smile. "You came. I was not sure if you would." "You were not sure?" Maria said. "I thought this was your idea." David laughed. "Well, yes, but I know it was a crazy suggestion. I am glad you are brave enough to accept." He sat down on a chair across from her. Up close, Maria noticed he looked a bit tired. Performing for thousands of people probably took a lot of energy. "I need to be honest with you," David said, his smile fading slightly. "After I left your restaurant yesterday, I started thinking. Maybe I was too impulsive. Maybe I put you in an uncomfortable position. This morning, when I saw that the whole neighborhood was talking about it, I worried that I had created too much pressure for you." Maria was surprised. She thought David was completely confident about everything. But he looked genuinely concerned. "I want you to know," David continued, "that if you want to back out, I understand. We can cancel. I will tell everyone it was my fault. I will not let you take any blame." For a moment, Maria was tempted. This was her way out. She could leave right now and David would handle everything. No humiliation. No failure. Just back to normal life. But then Maria thought about Mr. Chen, about her grandfather, about 4 years of practicing in a storage room, about the music she loved, about the person she wanted to be. No, Maria said quietly. I want to do this. David's eyebrows went up. Are you sure? I am terrified, Maria admitted. But I am sure. David smiled again, but this time it looked more genuine. Less performance, more real. Good, he said. Because I think this could be something special. And for what it is worth, I listened to you playing yesterday. You have something that cannot be taught. You have soul. They talked for a few more minutes. David explained how the duel would work. He would play first for about 5 minutes. Then Maria would play. Then they might play together at the end if it felt right. The whole thing would be casual, he said. Just 2 musicians sharing their love of music. Maria tried to believe it would be casual. But when she walked out of the backstage room and saw the crowd, she knew nothing about this night would be casual. Every table, every chair, every inch of standing room was filled with people. The crowd went silent when they saw her. Sophie, the sound girl, attached a microphone to Maria's trumpet. Just play into this, she whispered. And breathe. You have got this. The owner of the Blue Note, a gray-haired man named Paul, stepped onto the stage. He welcomed everyone and explained how honored the club was to host this special event. He talked about David Martinez's amazing career. Then he talked about Maria, the young woman from the neighborhood who taught herself to play trumpet. The crowd cheered when he said her name. Maria stood at the side of the stage clutching her trumpet. Her whole body was shaking. She could see people she knew in the crowd. Mrs. Lopez, the young couple from the restaurant, her school teachers, neighbors, friends. And she could see Mr. Chen sitting at a front table, looking at her with calm, steady eyes. Then David walked onto the stage. The crowd erupted in applause. He waved and smiled, comfortable in front of all these people. He lifted his trumpet to his lips, and he began to play. The first note that came from David Martinez's trumpet was perfect. Clean, clear, and powerful. It filled the entire jazz club in an instant. Maria felt it in her chest, in her bones, in her soul. This was what mastery sounded like. David played a fast jazz piece that Maria had heard before but could never play herself. His fingers moved across the valves so quickly they were almost a blur. High notes, low notes, complex runs that seemed impossible. Each note was exactly right. Not a single mistake. Not a single hesitation. It was like watching a machine, but a machine that somehow also had feeling. The crowd was completely silent except for a few gasps of amazement. Even people who knew nothing about music could tell they were watching something extraordinary. David's trumpet sang, laughed, cried, and shouted all at once. He made the instrument sound like it was alive. Maria watched from the side of the stage, her heart sinking. How could she follow this? She was a fool for thinking she could share a stage with someone like David Martinez. The gap between his skill and hers was not just large. It was an ocean. She wanted to disappear. David played for exactly 5 minutes. He ended with the impossibly high note that he held for what seemed like forever. Then he let it fade into silence. The crowd exploded with applause. People stood up cheering and whistling. David bowed and smiled, soaking in the appreciation. When the applause finally died down, David spoke into his microphone. Thank you so much. It is always a joy to play for people who love music. He paused and looked toward where Maria was standing. And now I want to introduce you to someone very special. Yesterday, I had the best meal I have had in months at a small restaurant in this neighborhood. While I was eating, I heard trumpet music coming from the back. Music that was raw but beautiful. Music that reminded me why I fell in love with the trumpet in the first place. Maria felt her face burning. Everyone was looking at her now. The woman playing was Maria Santos, David continued. She is 19 years old. She has never had a formal music lesson. She taught herself to play by watching videos and practicing late at night after work. When I heard her story, I did something impulsive. I challenged her to share a stage with me tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Maria Santos. The crowd clapped. Some people cheered. Maria's legs felt like water. She did not know if she could walk onto that stage. But she had to. Everyone was waiting. There was no escape now. Maria took a step. Then another. The stage lights were bright. She could not see individual faces in the crowd anymore, just a dark mass of people. Her hands were so sweaty she worried she might drop her trumpet. She reached the microphone stand. David smiled at her encouragingly and stepped to the side, giving her the spotlight. Maria lifted her grandfather's old trumpet to her lips. Her hands were shaking so badly that the trumpet trembled. She took a breath. Nothing happened. Her mind was blank. She could not remember any songs. She could not remember how to play. She was frozen. The seconds ticked by. The silence grew uncomfortable. Someone in the crowd coughed. Maria felt tears starting to form in her eyes. This was the nightmare. This was exactly what she feared. Complete and total failure in front of everyone she knew. Then, through the bright lights, she saw Mr. Chen. He was sitting in the front row, exactly where she had seen him before. He was not moving. He was not doing anything special. He was just there, watching her with calm, patient eyes. The same eyes that had watched her practice for 2 years. The same eyes that had never doubted her. And suddenly Maria remembered what Mr. Chen had told her. You are not playing to prove anything to anyone. You are playing because that is what you do. You are a musician. Maria closed her eyes. She did not think about the crowd. She did not think about David Martinez standing a few feet away. She did not think about proving anything or being good enough or not embarrassing herself. She thought about music. Just music. She thought about her grandfather on the porch playing as the sun set. She thought about late nights in the storage room, just her and the trumpet. She thought about the pure joy of hitting a note just right, of making a sound that meant something even if no one else heard it. Maria began to play. The song she chose was simple. It was called What a Wonderful World. It was a song everyone knew, a song that did not require fancy technique or impossible runs, but it was a song that meant something, a song about seeing beauty in ordinary life. Maria's first note was shaky. Her second note cracked slightly, but her third note was clean and true. And as she played, something changed. Her hand stopped shaking. Her breath steadied. The stage did not feel scary anymore. It felt like the storage room. It felt like home. She was not trying to sound like David Martinez. She was not trying to impress anyone. She was just playing the song the way she felt it, slow and honest. Each note given time to breathe. Each phrase allowed to mean something. Where David's playing had been fireworks, Maria's was a candle flame. Where David had been impressive, Maria was intimate. Where David had made people gasp, Maria made people feel. The crowd was silent again, but this time it was a different kind of silence. Not the silence of watching a show, but the silence of people actually listening, really listening, hearing not just the notes, but the person behind them. Maria played about the sunshine and the rain. She played about babies crying and watching them grow. She played about friends shaking hands and saying, "How do you do?" but really meaning, "I love you." She played about colors of the rainbow and faces of people passing by. She played about what a wonderful world this was, even with all its pain and difficulty. Her trumpet had dents and the silver was worn off in places. It did not sound as crisp and perfect as David's expensive instrument. But it sounded real. It sounded true. It sounded like it had lived a life. When Maria reached the end of the song, she held the final note. Not as long as David had held his, because she did not have that kind of breath control, but long enough. She let the note fade naturally, the way a sunset fades into night. She lowered her trumpet and opened her eyes. The crowd was still silent. For a terrible moment, Maria thought she had failed completely. But then she saw faces. She saw people with tears running down their cheeks. She saw people smiling with genuine emotion. She saw Mrs. Lopez openly crying, covering her mouth with her hand. Then someone started clapping. Then another person. Then another. And suddenly the whole room erupted, but not like before. Before, the applause for David had been excited and energetic. This applause was different. It was warm. It was emotional. It was the sound of people who had been moved. People were standing up. People were cheering. But many were also wiping their eyes. Even some of the young musicians in the crowd, people who probably had more technical skill than Maria, were nodding with respect. Maria could not believe what was happening. She had not played anything fancy. She had not done any tricks. She had just played a simple song as honestly as she could. And somehow that was enough. David Martinez was standing to the side of the stage. Maria looked at him, expecting to see disappointment or pity. But instead, she saw something she did not expect. His eyes were wet. He was crying. The great David Martinez, who had played for presidents and kings, who had won every award possible, was crying. He walked over to Maria slowly. The crowd quieted down to see what would happen. David stood in front of Maria, and for a moment he did not say anything. He just looked at her, then at her old dented trumpet, then back at her face. That was... David started, then stopped. He seemed to be struggling to find words. That was beautiful. Truly beautiful. He turned to address the crowd, his microphone still on. I need to say something. I need to be honest with all of you and with Maria. He took a breath. When I challenged Maria to this duel yesterday, I think part of me was being arrogant. I thought it would be cute. A professional and a self-taught waitress. I thought it would be entertaining. Good publicity, the crowd murmured. Maria felt her stomach twist. Was he about to humiliate her after all? But I was wrong, David continued. So wrong. What I just heard was not cute or entertaining. It was real music. The kind of music that reminds us why we love music in the first place. Not because it is complicated or impressive, but because it touches something inside us. He turned back to Maria. I have spent the last 10 years perfecting my technique. I can play faster and higher and more complicated than almost anyone. But somewhere along the way, I think I forgot something. I forgot that music is not about showing off. It is about connecting. It is about feeling. You just taught me something I should have never forgotten. Maria could not speak. She did not know what to say to that. David Martinez, her idol, was saying she taught him something. I have a request, David said to Maria. I had planned for us to take turns to compete, but I do not want to compete with you. I want to play with you. Would you let me? Maria nodded, still unable to form words. David smiled. Do you know Moon River? Maria nodded again. She knew it. She had practiced it many times. Let us play it together, David said. You start, and I will follow your lead. This was crazy. David Martinez was going to follow her lead, but Maria lifted her trumpet again. The crowd settled down, eager to hear what would come next. Maria began to play Moon River. It was magical. The two trumpets talked to each other, answered each other, supported each other. Where Maria's trumpet was warm and earthy, David's was bright and clear. Together they created something neither could have created alone. As they played, Maria felt something shift inside her. She was not scared anymore. She was not worried about making mistakes. She was just playing, making music with another person who loved music as much as she did. It did not matter that he was famous and she was nobody. In this moment, they were just two musicians sharing something beautiful. When the song ended, the crowd went wild. The applause was deafening. People were on their feet, shouting and cheering. Maria looked at David, and he was grinning from ear to ear. Again, he asked. They played 3 more songs together. Each one felt more natural than the last. David kept letting Maria lead, kept supporting rather than dominating. It felt like they had been playing together for years, not minutes. After the final song, Paul, the owner of the club, came on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, what a night. What an absolutely incredible night. He shook both Maria's and David's hands. I think we all witnessed something special here. The crowd agreed loudly. Paul tried to settle them down. Now I know it is late, but before we end, does anyone have any questions for our musicians? Hands shot up all over the room. Paul pointed to a young woman near the back. This question is for Maria, the woman said. How does it feel to share a stage with someone as famous as David Martinez? Maria thought about this. Scary, she said honestly, but also amazing. Like a dream I did not know I was allowed to have. Another person asked David, will you play with Maria again? David looked at Maria. I hope so, he said. If she will have me. More questions came. Most were for Maria. People wanted to know her story. How she learned. Why she started. What her dreams were. Maria answered as best she could, though it all still felt surreal. Then Mr. Chen raised his hand. Paul pointed to him. Mr. Chen, Maria said, recognizing her friend. You have a question? Mr. Chen stood up slowly. Not a question, he said. Just something I want to say. He looked at Maria with pride in his eyes. I have been listening to Maria play for 2 years now. I have watched her grow from making terrible sounds to making beautiful music. What you saw tonight is not talent that appeared overnight. It is the result of dedication, practice, and love. Maria, I am proud to have been your friend and teacher. The crowd applauded. Maria felt tears running down her face. She climbed off the stage and walked over to Mr. Chen, giving him a long hug. Thank you, she whispered. For everything. The night continued for another hour. People wanted to talk to Maria, to congratulate her, to take photos. It was overwhelming, but in a good way. Maria felt like she was floating. This could not be real. Things like this did not happen to people like her. David stayed by her side, being friendly and kind. He introduced Maria to other musicians in the crowd. He talked about her playing in glowing terms. He did not act superior or famous. He acted like a colleague, like an equal. Eventually, people started to leave. It was nearly midnight. Maria remembered her promise to her mother to be home by then. She needed to go. She found David near the bar, talking to Paul about something. When he saw her approach, he smiled. "Heading out?" "Yes," Maria said. "I promised my mother I would be home by midnight." "Like Cinderella," David joked. Then his face became more serious. "Maria, I meant what I said earlier. You have real talent. Unique talent. Have you ever thought about studying music formally?" Maria shrugged. "My family does not have money for that. I am going to community college to study business. I will take over the restaurant someday." David frowned. "But is that what you want?" No one had ever asked Maria that question before. What did she want? She had spent so long thinking about what was practical, what was possible, what was expected. She never let herself think about what she actually wanted. "I want to make music," Maria said quietly. "But I do not think that is realistic for someone like me." "Why not?" David asked. "Because I am just a waitress from a poor family who taught herself from videos," Maria said. "Real musicians go to fancy schools and have expensive teachers. They do not work in restaurants." "That is not true," David said firmly. "Some of the best musicians I know came from nothing. What matters is not where you start. It is what you are willing to work for." He pulled out his phone. "I want to give you my personal number. I want to help you. I know people at music schools. I know about scholarships. I know teachers who would be thrilled to work with someone as dedicated as you." Maria stared at him. "Why would you do this for me?" "You do not even know me," David smiled. "Because tonight you reminded me why I became a musician. You gave me a gift. Let me give you one back." Maria took his number. She did not know if anything would come of it, but she saved it in her phone carefully, like it was something precious. Outside the jazz club, the night air was cool and fresh. The crowd had dispersed. Most people had gone home, but a few remained, including Mrs. Lopez and some neighbors. They clapped when Maria came out. "You were wonderful," Mrs. Lopez said, hugging Maria tightly. "The whole neighborhood is so proud of you." Maria thanked everyone and started walking home. Mr. Chen walked beside her. They did not talk much. They did not need to. Sometimes silence between friends is comfortable. At her street corner, Mr. Chen stopped. "This is where I turn," he said. "Maria, do you understand what happened tonight?" "I think so," Maria said. "You changed your life," Mr. Chen said. "Maybe you do not see it yet, but nothing will be the same after tonight. The question is, what will you do with this change?" Maria thought about this as she walked the last block to her house. What would she do? Could she really become a musician? Was that even possible? When she got home, her mother was still awake, sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of tea. She looked up when Maria came in. "You are late," her mother said, but she did not sound angry. She sounded curious. "Where were you?" Maria sat down across from her mother, and for the first time she told her everything. About the trumpet in the storage room, about learning from videos, about Mr. Chen, about David Martinez, about tonight. Her mother listened without interrupting. When Maria finished, her mother was quiet for a long moment. Then she said something that surprised Maria. "I knew about the trumpet," her mother said. "What?" Maria asked. "I heard you playing many times," her mother said. "I knew you stayed late at the restaurant to practice. I pretended not to notice because you seemed happy when you played. You seemed like yourself. You knew?" Maria could not believe it. "Why did you never say anything?" Her mother smiled sadly. "Because I did not want to make you choose. Between family responsibility and your dreams, I thought if I said nothing you could have both for a little while." "Mama," Maria started. "But tonight something changed," her mother said. "I saw the video. Someone posted it online. I watched you play. Maria, you are so beautiful up there, so alive. I have never seen you like that." "There is a video?" Maria asked, shocked. Her mother showed her phone. Sure enough, Someone had recorded the whole performance and posted it. It already had thousands of views and hundreds of comments. People saying beautiful things about Maria's playing. People asking who she was. People saying they were moved to tears. "I want you to follow your music," her mother said. "Your father and I will manage the restaurant. We do not need you to sacrifice your dreams for us." Maria started crying. She hugged her mother tightly. "Thank you, Mama. Thank you so much." That night, Maria lay in bed unable to sleep again. But this time it was not from fear. It was from excitement, from possibility, from hope. Her phone kept buzzing with messages from people she knew and some she did not know. Everyone wanted to talk about the performance. David Martinez had sent her a text. "Check your email. I sent some scholarship information. No pressure, but think about it." Maria opened her email. There were links to music schools, scholarship applications, and contact information for teachers. David had also written a long email about his own journey, about doubts and fears and pushing through them. Maria read everything twice. Then she opened a browser and started researching. Music schools, performance programs, jazz studies. It all seemed impossible and exciting at the same time. As the sun started to rise, Maria finally fell asleep. She dreamed of stages and trumpets and music that filled the world. Maria woke up to the sound of her phone ringing. She looked at the clock. It was 8 in the morning. She had only slept 3 hours. Her body ached with tiredness, but her mind felt strangely alert. The phone screen showed an unknown number. Maria answered hesitantly. "Hello? Is this Maria Santos?" a woman's voice asked. "Yes," Maria said. "My name is Jennifer Park. I am a reporter for the City News. I saw the video of your performance last night. I would love to do a story about you. Could we meet for an interview?" Maria sat up in bed, suddenly very awake. A reporter wanted to interview her? I do not know. I need to think about it." "Of course," Jennifer said. "Here is my number. Call me when you are ready. This is a great human interest story. Self-taught musician shares stage with famous performer. People love stories like this." After hanging up, Maria checked her phone. She had 47 text messages, 16 missed calls, and too many social media notifications to count. The video of her performance had spread beyond her neighborhood. It was being shared all over the city. Some music blogs had written about it. People were calling her inspiring, raw, authentic. But not all the comments were positive. Some people said she was not that good. Some said David Martinez was just being nice to her. Some said she got lucky and should not quit her day job. Maria tried not to read those comments, but they stuck in her mind anyway. There was a knock on her bedroom door. Her father opened it and peeked in. He looked confused and a bit overwhelmed. "Maria, there are people outside." "What?" Maria jumped out of bed and looked out her window. Sure enough, there were about 20 people standing on the sidewalk in front of her house. Some had cameras. Some were just curious neighbors. "What do they want?" Maria asked. "I think they want to see you," her father said. "This is very strange." "What happened last night?" Maria got dressed quickly and went downstairs. Her mother was in the kitchen looking out the window with a worried expression. "Should we call the police?" she asked. "No, Mama," Maria said. "They are just curious. It will calm down." But it did not calm down. All day people came to the house. Some wanted photos. Some wanted autographs. Some just wanted to meet the girl from the video. Maria's parents were confused and stressed by all the attention. This was not normal life. This was chaos. Around noon, Maria escaped to the restaurant. She thought maybe there she could have some peace and do her normal work. But the restaurant was packed. Every table was full. People were waiting outside. When Maria walked in, customers started clapping. Her father looked panicked. "We have never been this busy," he said. "We are running out of food." Maria helped serve tables as fast as she could. But it was overwhelming. Many customers wanted to talk about last night. They wanted to tell Maria how the music made them feel. They wanted to take photos with her. It was flattering but exhausting. One customer, a middle-aged man in a business suit, asked to speak with Maria privately. He handed her a business card. "I manage a few local musicians," he said. "I would like to talk to you about representation. There could be real opportunities here. Gigs, events, maybe even recording." Maria took the card but did not know what to say. This was all happening so fast. Just 2 days ago, she was invisible. Now strangers wanted to manage her career. By evening, Maria was completely drained. She had not slept enough. She had not eaten properly. She had not had a moment to herself to process what was happening. When her shift ended, she told her parents she needed some air. She walked to the small park near her house. It was almost empty. Just an old couple sitting on a bench and a mother pushing a stroller. Maria sat under a tree and closed her eyes. For the first time all day she could breathe. Her phone buzzed. It was a text from David Martinez. "How are you holding up?" "I imagine things are crazy," Maria wrote back. "Very crazy. I do not know how to handle all this attention," David replied. "It gets easier. First rule, you do not have to respond to everyone. Second rule, be careful who you trust. A lot of people will want things from you now. Third rule, remember why you play music. Do not let the noise drown out the music." Maria read his message several times. It made sense. She had been so busy reacting to everything that she had forgotten to think about what she actually wanted. Another text came from Mr. Chen. "Tea at my house tomorrow?" "I think we should talk," Maria smiled. That sounded perfect. "Yes, please. Thank you." That night, the restaurant stayed open late because customers kept coming. David Martinez's post about the restaurant had brought people from all over the city. They wanted to eat where the famous musician ate. They wanted to see where Maria worked. Some even asked to see the storage room where she practiced. Maria's father was thrilled about the business. "This is wonderful," he kept saying. "We will need to hire more help. Maybe expand the menu. This is our big chance." But Maria's mother noticed how tired Maria looked. After closing, she pulled Maria aside. "This is too much," she said. "You need rest." "I am fine, Mama," Maria said, though she was not fine. She felt like she was being pulled in 100 directions. "No," her mother said firmly. "Tomorrow you are not working. You are taking a day for yourself. Figure out what you want, then decide what to do." Maria was grateful for her mother's wisdom. She went home and fell into bed, not even bothering to change clothes. She slept for 12 hours straight. When she woke up the next morning, everything was quiet. Her phone was still full of notifications, but she ignored them. She got dressed and walked to Mr. Chen's house. He lived in a small apartment above a bookstore just 5 blocks away. Mr. Chen greeted her at the door with a warm smile. Come in, come in. I made tea." His apartment was exactly what Maria expected, small but cozy, filled with books, old records, and photos of his family. There was a piano in one corner covered with a cloth. On the walls hung pictures of Mr. Chen from his younger days. Standing with students and colleagues, they sat at his small kitchen table. Mr. Chen poured tea into 2 cups and pushed one toward Maria. "So," he said, "life has changed quickly." "Too quickly," Maria said. "I do not know what to do. Everyone wants something from me. Reporters, managers, customers. Even my own father wants me to help bring more business to the restaurant. I feel like I am being pulled apart." Mr. Chen nodded. "This is normal. When something special happens, everyone wants a piece of it. But you must remember, you are not a piece of property. You are a person. You get to choose your path. But what if I choose wrong?" Maria asked. "There is no wrong choice," Mr. Chen said. "Only choices that lead to different places. The question is, where do you want to go?" Maria thought about this. Where did she want to go? "I want to keep playing music," she said. "But I also want my normal life. I want my family. I want my friends. I do not want to become someone I am not." "Then do not," Mr. Chen said simply. "Just because you can do something does not mean you must do it. Just because opportunity knocks does not mean you must answer." This was what Maria needed to hear. She did not have to say yes to everything. She could say no. She could choose. "David sent me information about scholarships," Maria said. "About music schools. Part of me wants to apply. But part of me is scared. What if I am not good enough? What if I fail?" Mr. Chen smiled. "Fear of failure is normal. But let me tell you something I learned in my teaching career. The students who succeeded were not always the most talented. They were the ones who wanted it most. The ones who were willing to work hard. The ones who loved music more than they feared failure. Do I love music that much?" Maria wondered aloud. "Only you can answer that," Mr. Chen said. "But I think you already know the answer." They talked for 2 more hours. Mr. Chen told stories about his own musical journey. He had wanted to be a concert pianist when he was young. He was good but not great, not good enough for the highest levels, so he became a teacher instead. At first he felt like a failure, but over time he realized teaching was his true calling. He had influenced hundreds of students. Some became professional musicians. Some just learned to love music. All carried something he had given them. My point is, Mr. Chen said, success is not just about being famous or the best. Success is about doing what you love and sharing it with others. You already did that at the Blue Note. You shared your love of music and it touched people. That is success. When Maria left Mr. Chen's apartment, she felt clearer. She knew what she wanted to do. She wanted to apply to music schools. She wanted to study formally. She wanted to get better. But she also wanted to stay connected to her family, her neighborhood, her roots. She did not want to become someone who forgot where she came from. Over the next few days, Maria made decisions. She turned down the manager who wanted to represent her. He seemed more interested in making money than in her music. She agreed to do one interview with Jennifer Park from City News, but only if she could control the story. She wanted people to understand that she was not just a feel-good story. She was a serious musician who wanted to learn and grow. She also started working on scholarship applications. David had sent her information about 3 schools that offered full scholarships for talented students from underrepresented backgrounds. The applications were hard. They wanted essays, recordings, letters of recommendation. But Maria worked on them every night after her shift at the restaurant. Life slowly returned to a kind of normal. The restaurant was still busier than before, but not crazy. The reporters stopped calling. The crowds outside her house disappeared. Maria went back to her regular schedule. School during the day, restaurant in the evening, practice at night. But some things had changed permanently. Maria was recognized now when she walked through the neighborhood. People waved and said hello. Children asked if she would teach them trumpet. Local churches and community centers invited her to play at events. Maria said yes to some invitations and no to others. She played at her church's Christmas service. She played at a community center's holiday party. She played at a nursing home where old people cried hearing songs from their youth. Each performance taught her something: how to handle nerves, how to read a room, how to connect with different audiences. David Martinez stayed in touch. He called every few weeks to check on Maria. Sometimes he gave advice. Sometimes he just talked about music. Once he came back to the city and they met for lunch. He told her about his own struggles when he was young, about the times he almost quit, about the people who helped him. "You remind me of myself," David said, "before I got caught up in the business of being a musician. When it was just about love." "You still love it though, right?" Maria asked. David thought about this. "Yes," he said, "but I had forgotten how to show it. Your performance reminded me. Now I am trying to play differently. More feeling, less showing off. My audiences have noticed. Some say it is the best I have ever played." This made Maria happy. Maybe the duel had changed both of them. December came. Maria took her final exams at community college. She did well enough. Not great, but good. She had been distracted by music applications and performances. But she passed everything. Her father asked what she would study next semester. Maria said she did not know yet. She was waiting to hear from music schools. Her father looked disappointed. He had hoped she would continue with business classes, but he did not argue. Christmas was quiet and nice. Maria's family did not have much money, but they had each other. They ate together, laughed together, and Maria played carols on her trumpet while her mother sang along. Mr. Chen joined them for Christmas dinner. He had become part of the family now. He told stories and made everyone laugh. He brought Maria a gift, a book about famous jazz musicians and their journeys. "Read this," he said. "Learn from their struggles. You are not alone in this path." Maria read the book over the next week. She learned that many great musicians faced rejection, doubt, and failure before success. Some never became famous but still made beautiful music. Some became famous but lost themselves. The lesson seemed to be stay true to yourself no matter what. January arrived. Decision letters from music schools would come soon. Maria tried not to think about it too much. She had done her best. Now she had to wait. On January 15th, Maria received an email. It was from the City Conservatory of Music, one of the schools she had applied to. Her heart pounded as she opened it. "Dear Maria Santos," the email began. "We are pleased to inform you," Maria screamed. Her mother ran into the room, worried something was wrong. But Maria was jumping up and down, crying and laughing at the same time. "I got in," she shouted. "I got the scholarship. I am going to music school. Her mother hugged her tightly. Her father came running. He read the email over Maria's shoulder. A full scholarship to a prestigious music school, room and board included, starting in September. My daughter, her father said, his voice filled with emotion. My daughter is going to be a real musician. That evening, Maria called Mr. Chen to tell him the news. He was not surprised. I knew you would get in, he said. They would be fools not to accept you. I could not have done this without you, Maria said. Yes, you could have, Mr. Chen said gently. I just helped you see what was already there. Maria also texted David. He called her immediately. Maria, congratulations. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for everything, Maria said. For the recommendation letter, for the advice, for believing in me. I did not do much, David said. You did the work. But I am glad I could help a little. You know what this means, right? What? Maria asked. You're going to be amazing, David said. I cannot wait to see what you become. Over the next few days, Maria received acceptance letters from 2 other schools as well. She had options, but she chose the city conservatory because it was close to home. She could still visit her family on weekends. She could still play at community events. She did not have to leave everything behind. The neighborhood celebrated Maria's acceptance. Mrs. Lopez organized a party at the restaurant. Everyone came. They brought food and gifts and congratulations. Someone made a banner that said, Congratulations, Maria, our neighborhood star. At the party, people gave speeches. Mrs. Lopez talked about watching Maria grow up. Mr. Chen talked about their practice sessions. Maria's parents talked about being proud. Even some of Maria's old teachers came and said they always knew she was special. When it was Maria's turn to speak, she felt nervous. She was not good at public speaking. But she stood up and tried. I do not have a big speech prepared, Maria said. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for believing in me even when I did not believe in myself. And thank you for reminding me that I do not have to change who I am to follow my dreams. I am still the same Maria. I still work at this restaurant. I still live in this neighborhood. I still play my grandfather's old trumpet. The only difference is now I am brave enough to share my music with the world. And that is because of all of you. The crowd applauded. People were crying again. Maria realized that her story was not just her story. It was the neighborhood's story. It was about what happens when a community supports one of their own. When people believe in each other. When dreams are encouraged instead of crushed. After the party, Maria and Mr. Chen walked home together, just like they used to. The night was cold but clear. Stars filled the sky. What are you thinking? Mr. Chen asked. I am thinking about how strange life is, Maria said. 2 months ago, I was just a waitress playing trumpet in a storage room. Now I am going to music school, all because a famous musician heard me play. No, Mr. Chen said, not all because of that. That was just the moment people noticed. But you had been building toward this for 4 years. Every night you practiced, every song you learned, every time you pushed through frustration, that is what got you here. David Martinez just opened a door. You were the one who was ready to walk through it. Maria thought about this. Mr. Chen was right. She had been ready. Maybe not technically perfect, but ready in the ways that mattered. Ready to work hard. Ready to learn. Ready to be brave. What happens now? Maria asked. Now you keep growing, Mr. Chen said. You learn from great teachers. You practice even more. You make mistakes and learn from them. You become the musician you are meant to be. Will you still help me? Maria asked. Even when I am at school? Of course, Mr. Chen said. I am not just your teacher. I am your friend. That does not change. They reached Maria's street corner where they always said goodbye. But tonight Maria hugged Mr. Chen. Thank you, she whispered. For everything. You are welcome, Mr. Chen said. Now go home and rest. You have a lot of work ahead of you. Maria walked the last block alone, feeling light and happy. She looked up at the stars and thought about her grandfather. She hoped he could see her somehow. She hoped he was proud. When she got home, Maria went straight to the storage room at the restaurant. She unwrapped her grandfather's trumpet and held it. This trumpet had changed her life. But really, she had changed her own life. The trumpet was just the tool. The music came from inside her. Maria played one song before going to bed. Not for anyone else, just for herself. just for the joy of it. Because that was why she played, not for fame or recognition or scholarship, but because music made her feel alive. Because music was how she talked to the world. Because music was who she was. And now, finally, the world was listening. September came faster than Maria expected. Summer had been busy with work at the restaurant and preparation for music school. She took extra shifts to save money. She practiced for hours each day to prepare. She also started taking formal lessons with a teacher Mr. Chen recommended. The lessons were humbling. Maria realized how much she did not know, but she was eager to learn. The teacher, a woman named Professor Elena Rodriguez, was strict but kind. She corrected Maria's breathing, her posture, her fingering. At first, Maria felt discouraged. She thought she had been doing things right. But Professor Rodriguez explained that self-teaching often creates bad habits. "We will fix them," she said. "You have the most important thing, passion and musicality. The technique we can improve." Maria worked hard all summer. By August, she was playing better than ever. Her sound was clearer. Her control was stronger. But most importantly, she still played with feeling. Professor Rodriguez made sure of that. "Never lose the heart in your music," she always said. "Technique without emotion is just noise." The week before school started, Maria's family helped her pack. She would live in the dorms at City Conservatory. It was only a 30-minute bus ride from home, but it still felt like a big step. She was moving out, starting a new life. Her mother packed her clothes neatly. Her father gave her money just in case. Mr. Chen gave her advice about managing her time. "Music school is intense," he said. "Do not burn yourself out. Remember to rest and to enjoy the journey." David Martinez sent a care package. Inside were books about jazz history, a professional trumpet mute, and a note, "You got this. Stay true to yourself. Call if you need anything. Your friend David." Maria cried reading the note. Over the past months, David had become a real friend, not just a famous musician who helped her once. He checked in regularly. He sent encouragement. He even came to one of her summer performances at the community center and sat in the back row, just listening. On the first day of school, Maria's whole family drove her to campus. The City Conservatory was beautiful. Old brick buildings with practice rooms where music spilled out from every window. Students carrying instruments. Posters advertising concerts and recitals. This was a world Maria had only dreamed of. In the dorm, Maria met her roommate. Her name was Sophie Lee. She was a pianist from across the country, nervous and excited like Maria. They unpacked together and talked about their musical journeys. Sophie had gone to a special arts high school. Her parents were both musicians. She had been groomed for this life since she was 5. "I am so jealous you taught yourself," Sophie said. "I had every advantage and I still feel unprepared." "You did it all on your own." "Not completely on my own," Maria said, thinking of Mr. Chen. "I had help." That first week was overwhelming. Maria had classes in music theory, ear training, trumpet performance, music history, and ensemble playing. The work was intense. Everyone around her seemed so talented and prepared. Many had been playing since childhood. Many had expensive instruments and years of private lessons. In her first trumpet studio class, the professor asked each student to play something. When it was Maria's turn, she played a jazz piece she had learned over the summer. She played it well with feeling and control. But when she finished, the professor said, "Good emotion, but your tone is inconsistent. Your vibrato needs work, and you are rushing the rhythm slightly." Maria felt her face turn red. She had thought she played well. But apparently she had a long way to go. After class, she went to a practice room and cried. Maybe she was not good enough for this place. Maybe she had made a mistake coming here. There was a knock on the practice room door. Sophie peeked in. "Hey, you okay?" Maria wiped her tears. "I do not think I belong here." Sophie came in and sat down. "Everyone feels that way at first. I feel that way every day. We are surrounded by amazing musicians. It is intimidating." "But you all had proper training," Maria said. "I am starting from behind." "Maybe," Sophie said. "But you have something most of us do not have. You really love music. Not because you have to, not because your parents pushed you, but because you chose it. That is powerful." Over the next few weeks, Maria adjusted to the routine of music school. She practiced for hours every day. She studied theory until her brain hurt. She listened to recordings and tried to learn from the masters. It was exhausting, but exhilarating. She made friends with other students. They formed study groups and practice sessions. On weekends, they went to jazz clubs around the city and listened to professionals play. Maria was absorbing everything like a sponge. Every Sunday, Maria went home to visit her family and help at the restaurant. Her parents needed her less now because business had stabilized. They had hired 2 new workers, but Maria still liked being there. It reminded her of who she was and where she came from. Mr. Chen always came by on those Sundays. He wanted to hear about her week at school. Maria told him everything, the hard parts, the exciting parts, the moments when she felt like giving up, the moments when she felt like she was exactly where she was supposed to be. "You are doing exactly what you should be doing," Mr. Chen always said. "Learning is supposed to be hard. If it was easy, you would not be growing." In October, the school announced a student recital. Anyone could sign up to perform. Maria was nervous about performing in front of her classmates, but she signed up anyway. She chose to play an original composition, something she had been working on for weeks. The piece was called Storage Room Dreams. It was about her journey, the loneliness of practicing alone, the joy of discovering music, the fear of sharing it, the courage to keep going. The melody was simple but emotional. It had moments of sadness and moments of hope. The night of the recital, Maria's hands shook as she walked on stage. The audience was full of serious music students and professors, people who knew every mistake, every imperfection. This was different from the Blue Note where people listened with their hearts. Here, people listened with their minds. Maria played Storage Room Dreams with everything she had. She did not try to impress anyone with technique. She just tried to tell her story. When she finished, there was a moment of silence. Then the audience applauded. Not wildly, but respectfully. A few professors nodded with approval. Afterward, her trumpet professor, Dr. Marcus Hayes, approached her. He was a serious man who rarely gave compliments. "That was good, Maria," he said. "Your composition shows maturity. You are starting to find your voice." "Really?" Maria asked. "Really," Dr. Hayes said. "You have a long way to go technically, but artistically you are already ahead of many students. Keep working. You could become something special." This encouragement meant everything to Maria. She was not perfect, but she was on the right path. In November, David Martinez came to town for another concert. He invited Maria and a few other students to attend. After the concert, they went backstage to meet him. David was friendly to everyone, but he pulled Maria aside for a private conversation. "How is school going?" he asked. "Hard but good," Maria said. "I'm learning so much. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed, but I know this is where I need to be." David smiled. "I'm glad to hear that. I wanted to ask you something. In December, I am doing a small benefit concert for music education programs. I would like you to perform with me. Just 1 or 2 songs. What do you think?" Maria's eyes went wide. "Are you serious?" "Completely serious," David said. "I think it would be meaningful. You represent exactly what these programs are trying to achieve, giving opportunities to talented people who might not otherwise get them." "But I am still just a student," Maria protested. "What if I embarrass you?" "You will not embarrass me," David said firmly. "I believe in you. Do you believe in yourself?" Maria thought about this. Did she believe in herself? More than she used to. Not completely, but enough to try. "Yes," she said. "I will do it." "Good," David said. "We will rehearse together a few times before the concert. It will be fun." Maria went back to school excited and terrified. She had a month to prepare. She practiced constantly. Dr. Hayes agreed to coach her specially for the concert. He was impressed that David Martinez had asked her to perform. "This is a big opportunity," Dr. Hayes said. "Do not waste it. But also do not overthink it. Just play the way you know how to play, with honesty." Maria rehearsed with David 3 times before the concert. Each time she learned something new. How to listen to another musician. How to respond in the moment. How to balance leading and following. David was patient and encouraging. He treated her as an equal, not as a student or amateur. The benefit concert was held at a mid-sized theater. About 500 people attended. The audience included donors, music educators, and families from various community music programs. Maria invited her family, Mr. Chen, and some friends from school. Backstage, Maria put on her best dress, a new dark green one her mother had bought for the occasion. She carefully warmed up her grandfather's trumpet. She had considered using a newer, more professional instrument, but she decided against it. This trumpet was part of her story. It belonged on that stage. David performed first, playing several classical and jazz pieces. The audience loved him. He was brilliant as always. Then he introduced Maria. "A year ago," David said into the microphone, "I met a young woman at a restaurant." The piece started softly, almost like a whisper. It built gradually, adding layers of emotion. It spoke of gratitude and love and the belief that when people help each other, beautiful things happen. It ended on a single, sustained note that faded into silence. For a long moment, the audience did not move. Then they erupted in applause. People stood. They cheered. They called out her name. Maria bowed, tears streaming down her face. This was why she played music. Not for the applause, but for the connection, for the chance to touch people's hearts. After the recital, there was a reception. Maria was overwhelmed by the number of people who wanted to talk to her. Other students, professors, community members, strangers who had heard about her and came to listen. But eventually she found her family. Her mother hugged her tightly. "Mi hija," she said. "I am so proud I could burst." Her father, usually not an emotional man, had tears in his eyes. "You did it," he said simply. "You really did it." Mr. Chen was last. He held Maria's hands and looked at her with so much love and pride that Maria started crying again. "You have become what you were always meant to be," he said. "A musician. A real musician." David Martinez approached with a big smile. "Maria, that was exceptional. Truly exceptional. You have grown so much in just 1 year." "Thank you for believing in me," Maria said. "I always believed in you," David said. "But now you believe in yourself. That is what matters." Later that night, Maria and her family and friends went to a small restaurant to celebrate. They ate and laughed and told stories. Maria felt surrounded by love. These people had supported her through everything. They had never doubted her. They had given her the courage to dream. As the evening wound down, Maria stepped outside for some fresh air. Mr. Chen followed her out. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. "I am thinking about that first night in the storage room," Maria said. "When I could barely make any sound at all. I felt so alone. I could not imagine ever playing for other people. And now?" Mr. Chen asked. "Now I cannot imagine not playing for other people," Maria said. "Music is not music unless it is shared." "Wise words," Mr. Chen said. "You have learned well." They stood in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Maria asked a question that had been on her mind. "Mr. Chen, why did you help me?" "You did not have to. I was just a girl making noise in a storage room." Mr. Chen smiled. "Because I heard something in your playing. Something real. And because when I was young, someone helped me. A teacher who saw potential in me and gave me a chance. I wanted to pass that forward. That is what we do. We help each other. We lift each other up. That is how beautiful things happen in this world." Maria understood. She was part of a chain of kindness and belief. Her grandfather had inspired her. Mr. Chen had taught her. David had given her opportunities. Her family had supported her. Her teachers were shaping her. And someday, when she was ready, she would help someone else. That was how it worked. "What happens next?" Maria asked. "After this year? You keep learning," Mr. Chen said. "You keep growing. You keep playing. And you never forget why you started. You started because you loved music. Not for fame or money or recognition. Just for the love of it. Hold on to that love. It will guide you through everything else." Maria nodded. She would remember that. No matter how far she went, no matter how skilled she became, she would remember the girl in the storage room who played trumpet because it made her feel alive. The next year at City Conservatory, Maria continued to excel. She won more competitions. She performed at more concerts. She even started teaching trumpet to children from underprivileged neighborhoods through a community outreach program. She loved teaching. She understood what Mr. Chen meant about passing forward the gift. One of her students was a 10-year-old girl named Anna, who reminded Maria of herself. Anna came from a poor family. She had no trumpet of her own. She practiced on borrowed instruments. But she had so much passion and determination. Maria saw herself in Anna's eyes. "Can I really become a musician?" Anna asked one day after a lesson. "Yes," Maria said firmly. "If you work hard and never give up, you can become anything you want." I know because I did it. And you can too. Anna smiled. You are my hero, she said. Those words meant more to Maria than any award or recognition. She was doing what mattered. She was helping someone else discover their voice. Over the next few years, Maria's life continued to unfold in beautiful ways. She graduated from City Conservatory with honors. She was accepted into a prestigious graduate program. She continued to perform, both solo and with orchestras and jazz ensembles. She recorded an album of original compositions that received critical acclaim, but she never forgot her roots. She still visited the restaurant every week. She still played at community events. She still taught children who could not afford lessons. She stayed close to her family and to Mr. Chen, who remained her closest friend and advisor. David Martinez became a regular collaborator. They performed together several times a year. They also started a non-profit organization that provided instruments and lessons to young people who wanted to study music, but could not afford it. They called it Storage Room Dreams in honor of where Maria's journey began. The organization helped hundreds of kids over the years. Some became professional musicians. Some just learned to love music. All carried something precious. The belief that their dreams mattered, that they could achieve things, that they were worthy of investment and support. On the 5th anniversary of the Trumpet Duel at the Blue Note Jazz Club, the club held a special reunion concert. Maria and David performed together again, playing some of the same songs from that first night. But this time they also invited some of the students from their nonprofit to perform. The place was packed. The same energy, the same warmth, the same sense that something special was happening. When Maria played What a Wonderful World again, she closed her eyes and remembered the terrified 19-year-old girl who had stood on that stage 5 years ago, shaking with fear, convinced she would fail. That girl had been brave. That girl had taken a chance. That girl had believed in herself just enough to try. And because of that bravery, everything had changed. After the concert, an old woman approached Maria. She had kind eyes and wore a simple dress. I just wanted to tell you, the woman said, that I was here 5 years ago. I saw your first performance. I was going through a very difficult time in my life. I had lost my husband. I felt like there was no beauty left in the world. But when I heard you play that night, something in me woke up again. Your music reminded me that there is still goodness and beauty. Thank you for that gift. Maria hugged the woman, tears in her eyes. Thank you for telling me, she said. This is why I play. Later that night, Maria sat in the storage room at the restaurant. It had been years since she practiced here regularly. But she still came back sometimes to remember to stay grounded. She took out her grandfather's trumpet and played softly just for herself. The trumpet was even more battered now. More dents, more wear. But it still worked. It still sang. Just like Maria, it had been through a lot, but it was still making music. Maria thought about her grandfather. She could not remember his face clearly anymore. But she remembered his music. She remembered how it made her feel. And she hoped that somewhere, somehow, he knew what his trumpet had become. Not just an instrument, but a bridge between people. A tool for connection. A way to spread beauty in the world. Her phone buzzed. It was a text from Mr. Chen. Are you at the restaurant? I am outside. Maria smiled and texted back. Come in. I'm in the storage room. Mr. Chen came in and sat on the old wooden stool. He looked older now. His hair was completely white. He moved more slowly, but his eyes were still sharp and kind. Playing old songs? He asked. Just remembering, Maria said. Good, Mr. Chen said. Never forget where you started, but also never stop moving forward. They sat together in comfortable silence, surrounded by boxes of rice and cans of tomatoes, just like years ago. But everything was different now. Maria was different. The world was different. But the music remained the same, honest, true, powerful. Mr. Chen, Maria said, do you remember when you first heard me playing? Through the walls? Of course, Mr. Chen said. What did you hear? Maria asked. Really hear? Mr. Chen thought about this. I heard someone talking to the universe, he said. Someone saying, I exist. I have something to say. I matter. That is what all music is, really. A way of announcing our presence. Of saying that we are here and we are alive and we have something to contribute. And now? Maria asked. What do you hear when I play now? The same thing, Mr. Chen said. But louder, clearer, more confident. You are still saying, I exist. But now you are also saying, we exist. You play not just for yourself anymore. You play for everyone who feels invisible, everyone who has dreams they are scared to chase, everyone who needs to hear that it is possible. Maria understood. Her music had become bigger than herself. It carried the hopes and dreams of all the people who had helped her, all the students she taught, all the listeners who found meaning in her songs. That was a sacred responsibility. That was what it meant to be a real musician. Thank you, Maria said to Mr. Chen, for everything, for seeing me when I was invisible, for believing in me when I did not believe in myself.